Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Christian Hanna Horror here today, guys. And guys, today I want to do a fun little video because I'm getting new subscribers. I'm getting messages from people asking for recommendations for movies, recommendations for slasher movies, and I thought this would be a good time to do a top 5 cult slasher movies I want you to see type video. So we're gonna go ahead and do that, and with this video, per usual, instead of just making the poster show up on either side of me, I will show you the release that I have, which is, in fact, in America, the best way to watch these movies for those watching in the state. I'm gonna keep this real and honest, so these are 5 cult slasher movies that I want you guys to see. Coming in at number 5 for me, this comes from Vestron Video on Blu-ray. That's a movie called Slaughter High. Now, Slaughter High sounds silly, sounds ridiculous, and quite honestly, it is, but there's something else to this movie. There's something, unfortunately, so real about this movie in the way bullying happens in school, in the way it can cause people to do just bad things. And, you know, what's interesting about this movie is this movie was not initially released on this Blu-ray release. It was put out on these DVD packs that you could get at Walmart back in the day. I did a cool video on that talking about when you could buy cult horror movies at Walmart. But the transfer was so bad, unwatchable, absolutely god-awfully unwatchable. So this fixed this problem. This Slaughter High Blu-ray release absolutely transforms the movie. There's a lot of interesting things about this. Harry Manfredini did the score for this, so you'll recognize his sounds in there. Just a very interesting, quirky little movie, but definitely a fun, energetic slasher movie that is so enjoyable, and you gotta check this out. This is Slaughter High. You can get this from Vestron Video. That's their Blu-ray release of Slaughter High. So I'm using the term slasher fairly relative, and this is a movie I want to bring this movie up because it needs to be talked about more and more. That is a movie called Alice, Sweet Alice. Now, Alice, Sweet Alice is, by definition, just an extremely good movie, number one. This movie absolutely blew me away when I first watched it. Me and my wife saw this on AMC during Halloween time like 3 years ago. And I went to this not really expecting anything. I just like, okay, this is an early 70s movie. I don't know. And this movie is undeniably incredible. It's a wonder. It really is a wonder why this movie is not more popular and not more talked about. I think it's because it's just pre-Halloween, and when we talk about slasher movies, we focus on Halloween till about 1989, 1990. And that's pretty much it. And that's not a fault by people, because we all know that there's a lot of great movies around that era. But this movie is just a dang good movie. So Alice, Sweet Alice is another movie I need you guys to see. That's number 4. This is the Arrow Video Blu-ray release. Absolutely incredible 2K restoration of this film, guys. You gotta get this movie on this format. That's Alice, Sweet Alice from Arrow Video. Check this movie out. Great movie. I'm not gonna spoil anything. Alright, guys, coming in at number 3 is a movie that has a following. It surely does, but I'm still seeing people say, oh, I've never seen that. Is this good? And it's one of the earlier Scream Factory releases that is just fantastic. This movie is great. Everything about this movie is good. It's got great characters in it, number 1, which is not always typical of a slasher movie, as we know. But number 3 is The Burning, guys. I still say this movie is one of the coolest slashers ever. You know, Savini jumped on this movie because he was not down with what they were doing with the sequels for Friday the 13th, so he went and did The Burning, and I think he made the right choice, because as much as I love Friday the 13th 2, The Burning is just as good, if not a little bit better. And, you know, I think this movie is fantastic. I think this movie has a lot to offer. I think this movie is one of the best cult slasher movies, and it still needs to grow. You know, it's got its fan base, but I still see people talk about this movie saying, oh shit, check that out. In America, this is the best way to watch this movie. That is The Burning. UK people, I believe Arrow put this out as well, but The Burning, guys, is from Scream Factory. Get this film, enjoy this film, and watch this film. Cropsey is a bad son of a gun. Alright, guys, coming in at number 2 is a movie that is around the post-Scream era. You know, actually, it's at the tail end of the post-Scream era, and I've been accused of thinking that era movies are bad, and I don't necessarily agree with that, although I can see why people can assume that based on the things I say, because I love Scream. I'm wearing a Scream shirt. This movie is, no pun intended, a cut above the rest, and this is a movie all horror movie fans need to experience, because it's a very well-made movie. It's got great characters. It's got a great-looking slasher villain. That is 2001's Valentine. Now, Valentine is a incredible slasher movie with a great story, you know, it was like rehashing on this holiday type craze, and I think that's the initial thing that people were just like, oh god, another. We already had movies, slasher movies about this holiday, and oh my goodness, we got to carry on. It's 2001. Let's move on from this stuff, and it's a shame. This movie had a good budget, $29 million is what I looked up, and it made money, but barely made money. Made about 35 million. And this movie just got panned by critics, and I can't understand why. This movie is fantastic. Valentine is my 100% favorite post-Scream era horror movie. Valentine is that good, guys. This is from Scream Factory. The way to watch this movie. It's a solid 9 out of 10 for me. Valentine is a fantastic film. I really, highly, truly recommend you guys checking out this movie, Valentine. Really good. Okay, guys, so coming in at number 1 for me is a movie that absolutely blew me away. And you could say, oh, that is a slasher movie, but it's also kind of like a crime, you know, action-type drama movie. But this movie is a slasher movie. This movie is horrifyingly scary. This movie blew me away, and more people need to see this. From the Charles Bronson himself, my number 1 is a movie called 10 to Midnight. This movie was absolutely horrifying. It takes the slasher elements, but puts the sense of realism to it with the type of villain it has. Very sadistic, very evil, very cunning. It's like the villain in this movie is always 2 steps ahead, and that's what makes this movie so harrowing, and what makes this movie so scary and so real. So 10 to Midnight, which is a Charles Bronson film, absolutely blew me away, guys. Needs to be seen more, needs to be talked about more, needs to be enjoyed by slasher movie fans more. 10 to Midnight, one of the most incredible movies I've ever seen in the horror genre from this era. So guys, definitely check this out. This is also a Scream Factory release, so you can pick this up. And as always with all these releases, guys, great special features. You know, you can really learn about the film, you can really dive into how these films were made, which are always interesting to me, and finding out just the little things about these films. These are the best ways to watch these movies, in my opinion, and this is my number 1, guys, 10 to Midnight, absolutely incredible film. So that's 5 cult slasher movies I think you guys need to check out if you haven't. Also, guys, be a part of the team, and drop some comments below, and throw in some other cult slasher movies. Obviously, we're talking about stuff besides Halloween's, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Texas Chainsaw Massacres. We're trying to dig a little bit deep, a little stuff off the beaten path, so to speak, to really help people dive in. So this is going to be a community video where you guys also add in movies that people should see that are cult slasher movies that are not mainstream. So, thank you guys for watching this video. This is Christian Henna Horror. Let me know if you've seen any of these movies, guys. Let me know if you're going to check out any of these movies, and feel free to hit me up on Instagram at Christian Henna Horror, Facebook. We have a Facebook page, Christian Henna Horror. Check me out on all social media and also on Twitter. Reach out to me. We'll talk. I'll recommend some more videos for you guys if you want to get a little bit more personal. I can do another video about this later on with 5 more films. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please be sure to give it a like, and we'll see you next time.